Let's start with a truth that will make your ego writhe. You are biologically programmed to seek a master. Deep in your ancient brain, in the limbic system, lives a small, frightened primate. This primate knows the world is chaotic, cruel, and full of predators. Alone, you are a corpse. Your only chance for survival is to find a strong protector, an alpha, a father, someone big, strong, and capable of defending the cave. You are willing to give this alpha the best cuts of meat. You are willing to obey. You are willing to tolerate his aggression as long as he guarantees your safety. This is the deal. I surrender my freedom and resources, and you protect me from chaos. The state is this surrogate alpha. It is Big Brother, the father of the nation. Politicians and bankers have hacked this instinct. They realized if they can convince you that without them the apocalypse will come, you will give them everything. Government debt is not an economic tool. It is a tool of psychological dominance. When the state says, we are borrowing to save the economy, pay benefits, build roads, your inner primate hears, Daddy is getting resources to feed us and fix the roof. You feel gratitude. You feel relief. Thank God someone adult is handling the problems, but you do not see the essence of the deal. The alpha in nature protects the pack with his own fangs. The state alpha protects you by selling your future. He is not borrowing his own money. He is borrowing your future energy. National debt is a contract for slavery, signed in your name while you slept. You think the printing press prints money? No. It prints your future time. Every bill printed, every billion of debt issued is a promissory note on your sweat, your blood, and your time that you haven't even lived yet. They use your faith in Big Brother as anesthesia. You believe that they know what they are doing. You believe that the state cannot go bankrupt. You believe in the myth of infinite resources. This belief makes you passive. You become a child sitting in the backseat of a car while a drunk father, the state, speeds toward a cliff. But you don't scream because you believe Daddy knows how to drive. Spoiler, Daddy doesn't know how to drive. Daddy sold the car for booze, and he has already pawned you to the loan shark to buy more liquor. To understand the scale of the theft, you must understand the nature of money. Forget textbook economics. Money is not paper. Money is not numbers. Money is canned life energy. You go to work. You spend hours of your life. You spend your neurons, your muscles, your finite supply of time, which is ticking toward death. In exchange, they give you money. This money is a certificate confirming that you gave your life energy to society. It is a battery in which your labor is stored. You put this battery in your pocket to exchange it in the future for food, shelter, or freedom. Now imagine there is someone who can create these batteries out of thin air, without labor, without energy expenditure, without losing time, simply by pressing print. This is the central bank and the government. When they print $1 trillion out of nowhere and inject it into the system via debt, they are committing an act of physical theft. Imagine a swimming pool. The water in it is the value of all goods and services in the world. Your savings are a bucket of water you laboriously collected from this pool. The government walks up to the pool and dumps a tanker truck of water, printed money, into it. The water level rises, but the quantity of real goods, value, has not changed. What happened to your bucket? The water in it became less valuable. It is diluted. Your canned energy has leaked away. They didn't break into your house at night. They did something worse. They changed the physics of the space you live in. They devalued your past, your savings, and your future, your wages. Inflation is not rising prices. Inflation is the theft of your time. If inflation is 10%, it means that 10% of the time you spent working last year was annulled. You worked 12 months, but they left you with value for only 10.8 months. Big Brother took the rest, without asking, without a tax return, without an armed raid, simply through the mechanism of debt and printing. It is the perfect crime. The victim doesn't even realize they've been robbed. They blame greedy merchants, geopolitics, crisis. They blame anyone but the master. Because admitting that the master is a parasite sucking your blood is too terrifying for your inner child. It is easier to believe that prices rise on their own, just as the weather changes on its own. The entire modern economy rests on a single resource, not on gold, not on oil, not on technology. It rests on faith. Fiat money, dollars, euros, rubles, is a religion. The word fiat translates from Latin as let it be done. It is a decree. Let this paper have value because we said so. This works only as long as the congregation believes in the church. Government debt is a promise of future stability. When you buy bonds, or when your pension fund buys them, you are buying a promise. In the future, we will take taxes from someone and pay you back with interest. But look at the numbers. Global debt has reached dimensions that are mathematically impossible to repay. The US, Europe, Japan, they are bankrupt. If they were a corporation, they would have been liquidated long ago and the management imprisoned. But they are the state. They have an army and a printing press. They use the principle of too big to fail. This is blackmail. They tell us, yes, we have accumulated debts we cannot repay. Yes, our currency is confetti. But if we collapse, you will all die of hunger. Chaos will consume you. ATMs will shut down. Stores will empty. Therefore, believe in us. Continue buying our debt. Continue working for our confetti. This is the classic tactic of an abusive partner. Who needs you without me? You will perish. Only I can support you. And we believe. We cling to this illusion of stability because the alternative, uncertainty, terrifies us on an animal level. The fiat system is a collective hallucination. We all agreed to see value in a piece of green paper. But the moment a critical mass of people wakes up and sees that the king is naked, the paper is backed by nothing. The magic will vanish, and then the flight from money begins. Hyperinflation. People will start dumping currency, exchanging it for anything real: food, ammo, gold, land. At that moment, Big Brother will show his true face. He will cease to be the benevolent protector. He will become the jailer. He will introduce price controls. He will ban capital flight. He will confiscate gold. He will do everything to force you to continue using his confetti because your faith is the only fuel for his power. Why don't we rebel? Why, when they steal 20-30% of our purchasing power in a couple of years, do we not take to the streets with pitchforks? Because they use a biological mechanism of adaptation, the boiling frog effect. If you throw a frog into boiling water, it will jump out. The pain will be sharp, the danger signal instant. But if you put it in cold water and heat it slowly, the frog will adapt. It will spend energy on thermoregulation. It will endure. It will think, well, it got a bit warmer, but I can live. At some point, it will boil alive, having lost the strength to resist. Inflation and debt growth are the slow heat. Last year, coffee cost $3. This year, $3.50. You don't take up arms over 50 cents. You adapt. You start buying coffee less often, or you buy a cheaper brand. You start working more. You take a side gig. You cut expenses. You think you are optimizing your budget. In reality, you are shrinking. Your life world is becoming smaller. Your possibilities are melting. You are getting poorer slowly, imperceptibly, day by day. Your big brother steals your standard of living with a teaspoon so you don't notice the barrel is empty. They change definitions. They change the inflation calculation methodology, CPI. They remove expensive items from the basket and replace them with cheap ones. Meat got expensive, but TVs got cheaper. Average inflation is normal. They tell you life has gotten better, but your fridge says the opposite. Yet you believe the authority from the TV, not your own eyes. This is gaslighting on a state level. They force you to doubt your own reality. Maybe I just don't work enough. Maybe I'm just a spender. No, you are simply a dairy cow hooked up to a life support machine designed to slowly extract resources. Debt creates dependency. A person in debt is an obedient person. A person whose savings are melting is a frightened person. A frightened person does not rebel. He clings to his job. He is loyal to the system. He is afraid to lose the little he has left. State debt and inflation are tools of pacification. A rich, independent class of people possessing resources is a threat to Big Brother. Independent people can say no. People living paycheck to paycheck cannot say no. Therefore, the system is designed to destroy the middle class and turn everyone into dependent proletarians waiting for handouts, stimulus, benefits, subsidies. They break your legs so they can offer you crutches in the form of government aid, and you thank them for these crutches, forgetting who exactly broke your legs. We are approaching the finale of this drama. The current debt system is dying. The math is relentless. Interest on the debt will soon exceed all state revenues. What comes next? Big Brother is preparing a new cage, a more perfect one. CBDC, central bank digital currencies. This is the end of money as we know it. Right now, when you have cash, you have freedom. You can buy what you want anonymously. CBDC is programmable money. It is money that has a master, and it is not you. The central bank will see every single transaction in real time, but that is half the trouble. They will be able to program your money. Imagine, this money has an expiration date. Spend it in a month or it burns. To stimulate the economy, you cannot buy meat with this money. You have exceeded your carbon limit. You cannot buy a train ticket because your social credit score is too low. Your savings are frozen because you attended the wrong protest. Government debt was a way to steal your past and future. CBDC is a way to steal your now, your will. It is the absolute power of Big Brother. Father no longer just takes your money. He now decides what you can eat, where you can go, and how you can live. Debt was just the excuse. The goal is total control. They use your faith in safety to sell you this digital prison as convenience. No fees, instant transfers, safety from scammers. They always sell slavery wrapped in convenience, and the herd trained for scarcity, trained for fear, trained to trust Big Brother, will joyfully run into this pen because they are promised a free bowl of soup. This was part 1. We have exposed the core of the problem. We have seen the cage. Now you have 2 paths. Close your eyes and hope it blows over. Spoiler, it won't. Or ask, what do I do? In part 2, if you're ready to hear it, we will dissect the sovereignty protocol, how to step out from under the falling pyramid, what is real money, how to become your own central bank, how to use debt against the system. Yes, this weapon can be turned. We will talk about gold, about Bitcoin without fanaticism as a tool, about skills that cannot be inflated away, and about the psychology of the predator who wins in chaos. Here is part 2, the solution, the sovereignty protocol. We have diagnosed the cancer. Now we pick up the scalpel. Warning, this is not financial advice. This is survival philosophy. You have seen the cage. You know that Big Brother is not your protector. He is your farmer, and you are the livestock. The currency you work for is melting ice. The debt is a chain. The future is a digital panopticon. So how do you escape? You cannot fight the state. You cannot outprint the central bank. If you fight them head-on, you lose. They have the monopoly on violence. The only winning move is to exit. Not physically, there is nowhere left to run, but economically. You must secede from their monetary system while living within their borders. You must become your own central bank. This requires a radical rewiring of your brain from employee mindset, hoarding currency, to predator mindset, accumulating hard assets. Step 1. The mental hard fork. Stop saving in fiat. The first law of the primal code. Never store your life energy in a leaking battery. Saving dollars, euros, yen is an act of self-destruction. Every day you hold fiat currency, you are bleeding energy to the state. You must adopt the mindset of hot potato. As soon as you receive currency, you must get rid of it. You must convert it into something that cannot be printed, something that requires work to produce, something that respects the laws of thermodynamics. Your goal is to own proof of work, not proof of politics. What is real? Real is what hurts when you drop it on your foot. Gold and silver. They are not investments. Do not look at them to make money. They are insurance against the insanity of the alpha. Gold is the only money that has survived 5,000 years. Why? Because it is finite. It is chemically inert. It does not rust. And most importantly, it has no counterparty risk. If you hold a bond, you depend on the government to pay. If you hold a stock, you depend on the company. If you hold gold, you depend on physics. Physics does not lie. Physics does not default. When the fiat hallucination collapses, people retreat to reality. Gold is the bunker for your wealth. If you do not hold physical precious metals, you do not own wealth. You own a claim on wealth that can be revoked. Get some, hide it. Forget it exists. It is your restart button for when the system crashes. Now we address the elephant in the room, the orange pill, Bitcoin. I'm not asking you to join a cult. I'm asking you to look at the math. Bitcoin is the only asset in the universe with a strictly limited supply that cannot be altered by authority. 21 million. That's it. The king cannot print more. The general cannot seize it if you hold your keys. It is unconfiscatable property. In a world of CBDCs, Bitcoin is the only exit door. It is a parallel financial system that operates without permission. Big Brother hates it. He attacks it. He spreads FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. Why? Because it breaks his monopoly on your energy. It creates a separation of money and state. Just as we separated church and state to gain spiritual freedom, we must separate money and state to gain economic freedom. You don't need to go all in, but having 0% exposure to the only asset that is mathematically immune to inflation is suicide. It is a bet against the system. It is a vote of no confidence in the fiat Ponzi scheme. Learn self-custody. Not your keys, not your coins. If it's on an exchange, it's not yours. It's theirs. Take it into your own cold storage. Memorize the seed phrase. Make your wealth exist in your head, accessible anywhere on earth, untouchable by any border guard. That is true sovereignty. Assets can be seized. Gold can be confiscated. Executive Order 6102. Crypto can be regulated at the endpoints, but there is one asset they cannot tax, cannot seize, and cannot inflate: your competence. In a hyperinflationary collapse, paper money dies, but the need for solutions does not die. If you can heal a wound, fix a machine, code a contract, negotiate a deal, or grow food, you are rich. Skills are inflation-proof. If the currency loses 90% of its value, the price of your labor goes up by 1,000%. Invest in your brain. Invest in your body. Become dangerous. A weak man depends on the state for survival. A strong, competent man carries his survival in his hands. The ultimate hedge against economic chaos is not gold. It is the ability to provide value that people are desperate for. Stop watching Netflix. Start acquiring skills. Learn to sell. Learn to build. Learn to fight. The future belongs to the technocrats of survival, not the passive consumers of entertainment. Here is the controversial part. Big Brother uses debt to enslave you, but you can use debt to rob Big Brother. This is Gresham's law and speculative attack. If you know the currency is going to zero, debt becomes an asset. Borrowing money at a fixed rate, say 5%, when real inflation is 15%, is essentially shorting the currency. You borrow money that has purchasing power today, buy a hard asset, real estate, business equipment, and pay it back later with money that is worthless. The inflation pays your debt for you. This is how the rich get richer. They do not save, they borrow. They borrow the melting ice to buy the solid land. Warning, this is playing with fire. You must have cash flow to service the debt. If you borrow to buy toys, cars, clothes, you are a slave. If you borrow to buy cash-flowing assets that appreciate with inflation, you are a financial guerrilla. You are using the system's own weight to crush it. You are effectively stealing value back from the printer. Finally, understand this. The lone wolf dies in winter. In a collapsing economy, legal contracts mean nothing. The police will be busy protecting the politicians. Your security comes from your tribe. Who are the 5 people you trust with your life? Do you have a network, not LinkedIn connections? Real blood brothers. People who will show up at 3 a.m. People who have complementary skills. Build your micro-society. A group of competent, sovereign individuals is invincible. The state can crush an individual. It cannot crush a decentralized network of high-trust operators. Invest in relationships. Filter out the parasites, the victims, and the dependents. Surround yourself with other predators who understand the game. Your network is your net worth, literally. The era of the nanny state is ending. The era of the predatory state has begun. The mask is off. They have told you to your face, you will own nothing and you will be happy. They are not hiding it anymore. The debt is the weapon. The CBDC is the cage. The inflation is the extraction mechanism. You have been warned. You can continue to sleep. You can continue to vote harder, hoping the next puppet will fix the broken machine. Or you can accept the primal truth. No one is coming to save you. Not the president, not the central bank, not the messiah. You are the savior. You must build your own ark before the flood. Convert your paper into reality. Convert your time into skills. Convert your fear into action. The storm is not coming. The storm is here. The roof is already leaking. Do not be the child waiting for daddy to fix it. Be the man who builds a new house. This is the primal code. Survive, adapt, dominate. Exit the matrix. End of transmission.